Good evening. Welcome everyone to the Cadillac Planning Commission here for July 28th, 2025. If you are able, please join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone.
Shippers.
Yes, here.
Host.
Here.
Rice. Bunce.
Here.
Bosher.
Here.
Bauman.
Here.
Bent. Van Pelt.
Here.
Putvin.
Here. Thank you, Danielle.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the agenda, moving 4B to 4A and making 4A 4B.
Second.
Support.
Perfect.
Putvin.
Yes.
Bosher.
Yes.
Bauman.
Yes.
Van Pelt.
Yes.
Bent. Rice. Shippers.
Yes.
Host.
Yes.
Bunce.
Yes.
Excellent. Approval of last meeting, which was June 23rd, 2025, of meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the June 23rd, 2025 meeting minutes.
Support.
Thank you.
Bauman.
Yes.
Bent. Bunce.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Van Pelt.
Yes.
Rice. Bosher.
Yes.
Putvin.
Yes.
Host.
Yes.
Okay, now B is A. We have an application filed by,
Oh, wait.
sorry, stop. Oh, communications, I'm skipping right to the main stuff. Sorry, Miss Teresa.
Well, that's okay.
I'm just moving right along.
Yes.
Communications up your alley, I think, yes?
Yes.
Okay,
So first I want to introduce myself to everyone. I'm Teresa Waldo. I'm the new Community Development Director here for the City of Cadillac. A little bit about my history. I've come from the City of Manistee, where I was the Community Development Director. Before that, I was at Lake County in the Assessing Department. And then before that, I was in Muskegon County for Laketon Township, which had over 10,000 residents. So just giving you a little bit of my history, and I've only been here 3 weeks. So everybody please be patient with me, and gonna do my best. Thank you.
excellent.
So next, I do have a zoning ordinance RFP update to share. We did receive 4 bid proposals back for us for the zoning ordinance rewrite. We accepted those 4 bids, and now we're in the process of reviewing those. I did a kind of a Rubik's scale that took Abigail, Danielle, and Jerry, sorry, Jerry, to review all of that. So we're getting those numbers together, and then we're gonna bring something to the city council for recommendation. So wanted to let you know on that. And then the next, the MSU Citizen Planner Training, there is something in your packet about that. If anyone is interested, you can either see myself or Danielle about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll go to where I was heading. We have an application filed by Mungar Ventures LLC, Robert Mungar, who I see is in the audience. Hi there. Owner of the property located at parcel number 10-105-00-027-01 on Kentucky Avenue for a sketch plan approval for a special land use residential planned unit development, RPUD for short, site condominium. Having read that, I'm not sure who's taking the ball and running, but somebody over there, yeah, Miss Teresa.
Yes, I am. So I do want to welcome Robert here tonight, this evening. We are going to be looking at the Cooper Trail Duplex Development. It's at 301 Kentucky Avenue. It is for a special land use or an RPUD site condominium. The applicant, Munger Ventures LLC, or Robert Munger. The date is today. So just going to give you a little overview. This reviews special land use permit for residential planning unit development site condominium. We already decided it's at the 301 Kentucky Avenue. It's parcel 10-105-00-027-01. It's a proposed duplex residential community. The site area is 7.13 acres. The units are going to be 9 duplex buildings. That will be a total of 18 homes. The ownership will be either for rent or for sale. You do have flexible options. The housing features are 2-bedroom, 1 bath, in-unit laundry, dedicated parking, and high-speed internet. Phasings, there's going to be 2. In the first phasing, there's going to be 2 duplexes within 6 months of approval. And then phase 2, which will be 7 duplexes, and that will be approximately 19 to 36 months after the approval date. Here is the location for that. And as we see here in the phase 1, there's going to be building 1 and 2, which is up here at the top, if you could see this. And then phase 2 will be building 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 here. And this is the look of those duplexes. Community and sustainability. There's going to be walkable pathways and shared green spaces, support social interaction and a healthy lifestyle, energy efficient appliances and eco-friendly materials, landscaping, commons areas, enhance well-being. So site plan and zoning context. Currently zoned R1, 1 family residential. The surrounding is a mix of single family and some multifamily and some vacant parcels. Transition, it bridges single family homes in a higher density like Edgeview condos. The supports Cadillac Master Plan's housing and neighborhood objectives. So conclusion, thoughtful, sustainable addition to Cadillac's housing landscape, respects neighborhood character and supports the city's goals, addresses urgent housing needs, and development team committed to collaboration and transparency. Conditions of approval by departmental review of findings. Number 1, increase the hammerhead turnaround for phase 2 to 15 feet. Now that comes from Anthony, our fire marshal. Number 2, detail interior open space, size, use, ownership, and maintenance. Number 3, delineate limited common areas and landscaping standards. Number 4, specify walkways, signage, and lighting in the final plan. Number 5, submit condo documents and master deeds for approval. Number 6, all intended roads paved to city specifications. Number 7, incorporate staff feedback on emergency access. Number 8, complete landscaping and green space as approved. Number 9, full compliance with city codes and ordinances. And number 10, future modifications require staff review and approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff before we proceed? Okay. Rob, before I open public hearing, is there anything you want to add, sir?
I'll just add briefly, I did work with the surrounding neighborhood, and it was really nice the way we had constructive discourse instead of arguing, and we worked together. And so, and when I came through the first time and got approval for the higher density, I said it was a if financially, and it didn't work. And it was nice to have good communication with the neighbors and the community and the city staff
to be able to come back and make this adjustment, so I really appreciate that. And then all the recommendations I agree with, so,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. So at this stage, I will go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone having anything positive or negative to say in reference here to this development, please come forwards, state your name. I think there's paper there to write your address, and
My
And
name
welcome.
is Carol Wolf Graham. And I'm very affected by this. I'm at 204 Kentucky. Nobody has come around to me to talk to me at all. So I'm not sure what neighbors he talked to. So I didn't feel too bad. I felt better when this came around this time to say that we were going to have condos in a smaller amount, because we felt that as condo owners, you have a play in the game, because you're going to be purchasing, you're going to care about your property, you're going to be invested in the community. But now that you can be rented, it's a little bit different story. My main concern is, have you done a traffic study on that road, anybody? Anybody at all? It is a speed trap. I mean, not a speed trap, it's a speed track. Everybody comes from 115 and takes shortcuts around the corner so they don't have to come up here to Sunnyside, and they cut through. I've reported school buses twice with no response, so the next time will be the police. We have one guy that goes no slower than 65 miles an hour down that road every day. So now we're going to have more traffic, and if it's going to be family units, we're going to have kids in the neighborhood. It's going to be a real big issue. And nothing has been mentioned in anything about the condition of Kentucky Road, what's going to be done with it. Because I can tell you right now, the people in Kentucky do not want to get stuck with the paving bill. So that's what I have, but I think you really need to look at this traffic pattern. I thought today, why don't they just shut the end of the road down and stop this traffic? Because it's a very serious, you can sit on a hot sunny day like today and watch this cloud of dust from all the traffic that goes by. You can't even have your windows open. So please help us out.
Carol, what's the posted speed limit?
25. It's residential.
Yeah.
And it's a school zone. I mean, it's a school traffic path. So nobody goes 25. So thank you.
Thank you. Ladies.
I have a huge name, so I'm going to fill that in first, and a big address. I'm Michelle Trevieri. I live on the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue, and I've lived in this area for 38 years, this exact area, actually. I lived on, when Kentucky turns into South 39, I lived on the farmhouse across from the church way back in 1987 until I became a resident of Cadillac in 1997 on Pennsylvania Avenue. So I know all these people here, and they've come to me with their concerns, and I have walked through your property before you owned it, Mr. Mungar, and it's not unoccupied. I have photographs of barred owls. These people here have photographs of bobcat families that actually have cubs, and we've had several occasions of black bears coming through their neighborhood. And actually, I hate to say this, because even though I'm a former employee with the DNR, nobody believes there's mountain lions down here, but there is mountain lions that go through that particular area. Now, since they've had the wellhead on East 44 Road, it used to really be a wetland. Okay, and I've, again, perused the whole property, birch trees, cedar trees, stuff that are, indigenous to wetlands. This is also on the 100-year floodplain. We all flooded in that area on, I believe it was June 13th, 2008. Yeah, and anyway, so when I contacted FEMA, because nobody had flood insurance, they said, well, actually, nobody should have been able to build because that is in the 100-year floodplain. And if it flooded then, the chances of it flooding again. So now with the well fields, it's kind of drying up, really, because there used to be ponds back there. So I do like Munger's approach. I'm glad I'm here to see that, because there will be habitat left for the way the design is. So thank you for that. And I actually know people who are interested in moving into the area. So I'm glad I came to the meeting because a lot of people are afraid to speak, and you know, they've come to me with their concerns. And that's all I want to say. It's not unoccupied. We have wildlife living in the area.
Perfect.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
And thank you, Michelle.
And thank you for being a little eco-friendly. Very good. Here, lady. Your turn.
Don't be too bashful. We don't bite up here at all.
Well, I was a little bit hesitant to get up here because I do appreciate the work that Mr. Munger has done with communicating. I'm from Edgeview Condos, by the way, and I do appreciate that this second plan looks much more neighborhood friendly. I'm a little concerned with the boundaries still. I know I look out, I'm in a fourplex that is directly behind your border line there. And I look out my sunroom window and I see a stake with a pink ribbon pretty close by. And I don't know, I assume that you've done a lot of research on this. It stays wet back there a lot. Like, I'm lucky that now in mid-July that it's dried out back there. And we were always told that we couldn't touch the wetlands, you know, to do anything to prevent, you know, our lawns from eroding, et cetera, that we just can't do anything with the wetlands there. So I'm just a little bit curious about the border of the back property.
It's all wet, we can't, that's why, like, the road doesn't go, it's okay to,
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
So
We
I
can't-
just wanted to express that
And we've done a
that I'm
wetland
putting
delineation.
confidence in you because I know that you have worked well with the neighborhood and you have listened. And so I have confidence that you will take care of things back there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Lori Sorensen at 258 Greenview at Edgeview Condominiums. I'm the president of our Edgeview Association board, and I'm here with several of our board members. And I just want you to know that we've talked with Mr. Mungar several times. He's been over to our campus several times and walked the area where I think it's on the west, I might be getting all messed up, border.
Yeah, the west side.
West side, where we're very close. I mean, in fact, a little bit, we're mowing on his area. So it's pretty close. But so we could get a visual, so he saw what we were looking at, and it was really good for us. We had great communication, and then we met another time on different plans that he changed, and then these are, again, different. But we acknowledged with him that what our concerns were on the first plan, on getting close to that area that we were really close, mowing part of a little bit of the land that he has. So that's no longer an issue. He's not coming back that far. It is all wet right there, and we've just had the communication open, and I expressed to him earlier we want to be good neighbors, and we like the plans. Our board members have picked up copies of the whole plan and stuff. So we do like it, and we want to keep that communication open for him since we're right there. So appreciate that.
Rob pays attention to details.
Yes, he does. I do want to say there are a couple of our board members wanted to know about the renting, just to see how that, we don't rent none of our condos. We have 54 condos. They're not rented, and, we maintain the landscaping and everything pretty well. So we just, like I said, we're not that close to it, his development that he's proposing, but rentals sometimes, we just didn't know what the future would bring. We want to be able to be good neighbors and keep up that look, and,
Before I close the public hearing, we'll give Rob a chance to address that.
Okay, thank you very much.
And are you still gonna mow?
Yes, he said that was okay. Because I told him, we'll get off your land. He thought that was okay, so, thank you.
I live a little further away from him, but you can mow anytime, but.
Well, that's why I suggested more, but they didn't go for it. So, as far as the renting go, that's like, my plan A is to sell everything. Plan B is if the market softens up, or if I come into any market troubles and stuff, because I'm planning on building everything right away. And that's like with the phase one, Teresa head up there. Phase one's just two units in the first 6 months, and that's predominantly because of weather conditions. It's not because of financial or market. It's just we're Cadillac. And I wanted to be upfront. Worst case scenario, I'll rent, but that's not my preference. If you look at my portfolio, I only have one condo that I rent. I have probably 500 rentals or property units and commercial, and I only have one residential. So residential renting I'm not a fan of. So I'd rather sell. So, and it's on TV, so you get on record. So the objective is to sell everything.
So you don't want to be a landlord, so.
Not that way. I like my commercial buildings. So.
Excellent. Thank you, Rob. Any other comments in favor or against? Before I close this down, and we'll talk amongst ourselves. Oh, please, come forward. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Christophe Leving. I'm the president of Highfield. I have logos on my T-shirt everywhere. We are building boats in Cadillac, Michigan. I was the president of Four Winds before. I'm here simply to support the concept of developing lodging in Cadillac for the businesses, for the kind of business I am doing. I had much more employees at Four Winds. I hope to grow the company I started 2 years ago in Cadillac with the same goals, and appreciate the concept of developing good lodging at an affordable price, which is very, very hard to find in Cadillac, and I would say also with a certain quality. What you can find at a lower cost in Cadillac is not necessarily good. So I'm here to support the project. I've been suggested to come here to represent, in fact, the industrials people of Cadillac, and that's my only message today. I don't know the project by itself. I live very close. I live on Sunnyside Drive. So I suppose it's a good project, and I see that there was good communication with the people. But in terms of just businesses, for us, it's very good. It's mean future employees. We are going to need more hotel. We have too many restaurants that we need to fill up with people. And so overall for businesses, this is a great thing. So I appreciate what you're doing, sir. And this is good for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, my name's Bethany Miller. I'm representing the Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce. And just public comment as well, that we do support these different housing projects in the area. As Christoph just mentioned too, we have a vast amount of industry in our workforce. Housing and stuff is really hurt by it. So from our membership that we represent, over 280, the overall consensus is that we do need more lodging and properties available to house our workforce. So
Thank you for your input. Anyone else? Try not to rush, yeah? Want everybody to be comfy.
Too comfy.
Don't fall asleep on me, Gene. Okay, at this time, I will close the public hearing and we will debate this. I thank you all for your input and coming this evening.
May I?
Please.
So I heard a couple of concerns. One was the wetlands, and I believe that was addressed. The other is the wildlife in the area, and I'm wondering if, when we're talking lighting, if we could have lighting that keeps the sky dark. You know, you could do directional lighting that won't mess with owls and things like that. So if that could be part of the project, that would be really helpful.
I've worked with light pollution. I tried to minimize it, so if you look at my self-storage over on M55,
Mm-hmm.
we use solar lights to minimize the the light pollution, so I am planning on.
Of course you are. Thank you. Oh, and the other one was the concern about Kentucky, that residents worried about having to be assessed for paving Kentucky if Kentucky's going to need to be improved. Have we thought that far ahead?
Can you help out with that at all?
Yeah, not really. The traffic generation by this particular development's probably at full development. You're talking around 150 to 160 trips per day, which is not a lot in terms of the scheme of things, but it's a gravel road. Ultimately, at some point in time, it does need to be updated, but the impacts provided by this particular development, you may not think so, but really are going to be rather minimal.
Okay. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing about speeding. I don't think that's something that we deal with here,
No.
but that is something that can absolutely be dealt with through the city.
I brought it up at both meetings when this has been brought up before about the speed. I live right on the corner and I watch it every day.
Yeah, I think this would be a public safety thing, so see me after.
Mr. Adams, you have input?
Yeah, we'll pass on to Adam the concern about speed, and we'll make sure that he's advised of what she was concerned about.
Because this is not the first time we've heard it here.
Right.
From last time Rob was here, people complained about the speed, yes.
I certainly don't live there, but I walk Kentucky, and I've not personally felt unsafe, but that's not to mean that others do or don't. Excuse me.
Keep treats in your pocket in case you see them.
I'm more worried about the dogs in the cars.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
Question for Mr. Mungar. Would you be able to build an attractive development accessible only by a dirt road? Or is that part of the process of going, all right, we've got to pave the first quarter mile or whatever? What's the thought process on that?
Thought process, I'm building it with the hope that really the city sees, it becomes a taxable value. So my brownfield tax credit person sent me some numbers. I mean, the city's having 18 units, it's going to definitely increase the taxable value. So there is value there. that the city can utilize that money to improve. So it's kind of the chicken and the egg situation. And it's not very far off the pavement there. So I don't think, I've done it before, and then typically paving comes in, and then, in all other cases, the city's picked up the tab and then taxed everybody. So, I mean, it's part of normal improvements because that road should be paved. I've been there where the dust clouds are horrible. So I agree with her. But
Is this part of a brownfield?
it will be.
It will be.
Yep. And this is part of my MEDC grant that I have. So I had to meet all the criteria for the MEDC grant. That's what complicated a lot of things. It wasn't, when we are in an area, we're really in a B class area, so I don't have quite the dollars that I can, the market rate's not as high as, let's say, East Grand Rapids or Forest Hills down there. I mean, it's very high, so it's a little bit easier to measure the investment and the outcome. So brownfield tax credits, grants, and then, smart building. I mean, it's critical for success. Because you don't want a project that I bring here, I get started, because there's been like condo projects here. I mean, even this one where they live, I know at the end, the developer was writing checks at the closing to end that. So we want to have a successful development, and that's part of the reason for the backup for the rental. So,
Right.
Does that answer your question?
I think so. And without getting into the full understanding of the brownfield, does the city capture that money back quickly, or does a road have to be paved and the tax capture is?
It's totally separate from the road.
Right.
And I have talked to the city, if the city says, hey, we need some investment for the brownfield, I may be helping to pay part of that road too. But that's outside of planning. That's in the brownfield arena. So I want to be partners with you guys. So
You're receptive in case.
definitely. I think my record's shown I'm always receptive to working with you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
So this is,
So do we make a motion to approve?
all we are doing is a sketch plan approval for this evening. TI, you did? Yes?
Sure, I make a motion to approve the sketch plan as presented
With the conditions.
with all conditions.
Okay.
Support.
Support. Mr. Baumann, roll call, please.
Van Pelt,
Yes.
Bosher,
Yes.
Bunce,
Yes.
Bent, Putvin,
Yes.
Host,
Yes.
Rice, Shippers,
Yes.
Bauman.
Yes.
Perfect. If you ladies want to leave, I'll give you a moment. I know you have big plans already, yes. We thank you for coming. Okay. Give you the opportunity. Thanks for coming. Okay. Our second public hearing. We have an application filed by KMF Construction, owner of properties, man, I gotta read all these. 10-083-00-092-00 10-101-00-001-00, property 10-083-00-108-00, property 10-089-00-025-00. Next property 10-083-00-106-00. Geez, two more. Wow. Next to last, 10-083-00-099-00, and finally, 10-083-00-097-00. Okay, properties. 4, special land use residential planned unit development, RPUD again. Sketch plan approval is what we're doing. To construct 7 apartment buildings consisting of 252 apartment units and 3 storage buildings consisting of 60 storage units. Okay, Teresa, I hope you don't have to read those numbers again. I just did. So, I will turn this over to you.
All right. So thank you. So we are here for the Lakeland apartment project for the special land use and KMF construction for today. So project location and overview. Location, north of, sorry, I don't live here, Hollister, okay, Street in Cadillac, and it is zoned RM-1. The total area for this project is 11.24 acres, and it's residential. The developer, KMF Construction, Kyle. There's 252 apartments and 7 buildings. Phases, there's going to be 3 stages, 1 year apart. And full site plan review will be in the next process. Building, parking, and density plan. The density is 22.4 units per acre. RM-1 allows 12.1. Building placement, 2 buildings near west, screened and landscaping. Storage buildings, they'll be building 3 along Cobb Street, 60 units, and those will only be for tenant use only. Leasing office, the temporary in the house that is currently there. Permanent house will be existing or built in phase 2. Road is 24 foot wide and 2-way. Parking, 1.5 spaces per unit, 1 per bedroom. And the ADA is 2 spaces, building expandable. Parks and open space, utilities and infrastructures. Central Park is 1 acre, play area and a possible dog park. Open space parcel, wetlands, city stormwater outlet. Signage, 32 square foot at Cobb Street entrance. Utilities and infrastructure, sewer and water extended and looped for redundancy. Stormwater, enhanced retention, city maintenance. Here is the plans, and as you can see, there's phase 1 and phase 2. That is along the Ann Arbor Railroad. Then there you can see and look at the phase 2, and then also the phase 3, and the phase 3 has 3 buildings there. And this is the look of these nice apartments. Characteristics of the development. The Lakeland apartment project stands out as a model of a smart, high-density residential development within Cadillac's RM1 zoning district. Its planned unit development approaches allows for more housing close to downtown while preserving open space and minimizing impacts on nearby neighborhoods. Research consistently shows that multifamily projects like this near city centers, boosting housing options, and supports vibrant, walkable communities. Should the Planning Commission wish to approve the RPUD sketch plan, staff recommends the following conditions of approval. Traffic study required. Impact study evaluates how a project will affect local roads and intersections, ensure safe and efficient movement, and identify needed improvements before development. Next would be the utility and code compliance. Development must follow local codes and utility standards for safety, legal approval, and efficient delivery of services like water and power. Detailed plans and brownfield requirements. Site plans must be show building layouts, utilities, and grading. Brownfield site need extra steps for environmental safety, including identifying, contaminating, and planning remediation. Project aligns with city goals. The project should support city priorities like sustainability, affordable housing, and economic growth, ensuring development fits border municipal plans. Support housing diversity. Plans are evaluated for how they provide varied housing types and price points, promoting inclusivity and meeting different community needs. Boy, that was a tough one. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome.
I thought I saw Kyle. I did. You want to come forwards before I open public hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Kyle Fryer, KMF Construction. That's a project we're extremely excited about. It's been, I would say, probably a year and a half or better in the making with the planning and different revisions and kind of all over the place with the city. But I feel like we landed on a really nice site plan and that we're happy with, that's functional. And yeah, Teresa kind of went over all the details that I had written down, but yeah, it's kind of a situation where introduce Aaron Cucci as part of our development team and partner, Adam Feenstra with Feenstra and Associates. He's a civil engineer for us, so if we have any more technical questions, he's available for that. But yeah, we're a smaller developer out of Jenison, Michigan. We do pretty much one project at a time, and this is kind of what we have our sights on. We've done this concept before, these buildings before, and we've had really good luck with it. And it's a quality building. It's not, it's not just a standard stamp plan. We've put a lot of time into it, and we're proud of how it looks and how the layout and the functionality is.
I do have a video. Would you like me to play that?
I think we've seen
The
it.
video that's
I think you
there?
guys did see that. Yep.
We did, although the audience hasn't.
Okay. That's this one right here. I can go ahead. Okay.
Gotta open it now. There you go. Careful with that, it might be loud. Start one more time.
tambourine.
Perfect. Thank you, Teresa.
But yeah, we're excited to, we'd love to bring workforce housing to Cadillac, and I think this is a perfect product for it. And yeah, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. We appreciate the project. Okay. Everybody good? Open public hearing? We're all good? Okay, at this time, we'll open public hearing. Anyone in the audience wishing to, any input, good or bad, please come forward.
David Anderson, 200 Cobb Street. I live just on the other side of the railroad tracks from where you're talking about this place becoming. I don't understand much about the picturing. When we were looking at the pictures, of course, I didn't get no all I got was this little piece of paper in the mail saying this event was taking place. Okay. I didn't realize there was other, like, pictures of the plans and such like that that could have been gotten. I never realized that. But with this, they're very nice looking buildings. I'll start with that. Okay? Yeah, I got no problem with that at all. It's just that is a swampland that, as we've talked before, that is very much a swampland over there. That we're putting in 252 houses that if 200 of them are occupied by people that have children, we have a swamp right there that the kids are going to be playing in, or potentially. I mean, I didn't hear nothing about fencing it off. And the same thing with the railroad tracks right there behind it. I mean, that seems, everybody, and I do understand that everybody intends that their child stays off the railroad tracks, but we still have it all the time. I live right on them. I probably the closest person to the railroad tracks off from Cobb Street. I live right there, and I watch people walk up and down the tracks continuously. So my concern is are we building some kind of a retainer wall to keep the people off from the railroad tracks that potentially may live there? These are things that, and for the longest of times, we used to have people, let's see, I don't want to be rude, homeless that used to use that area as a staying point. When they shoot them out from behind the grocery store, they all went up there, and that's where they started staying for a year or so before they've shuffled them off somewhere. I don't know where they stay now. I don't know. But they're shuffling them out of there now. But nevertheless, I have these concerns that these people's children, are going to, a person like me, I can't stand in the way of progress. This is progress. We need the progress. We need the housing. We need, I just want to see that these things are also taken into consideration for the people of us that live there. We're just, I would think we're all concerned about safety for everybody is my thought. And I just wanted to have this opportunity to bring this up to make sure this is all brought into, into thought. A retainer wall, a fence, something to keep them, because the train is in a valley there. That's, I don't know. I just wanted to stop in here to have that little saying about all of this.
So before I close public hearing, we will get that answer for you.
Thank you very kindly.
Yes, sir, David. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Jenny Fries. I live at 222 Cobb Street. Public speaking is not my forte. I have several concerns. First of all, I'll start just with the traffic on Cobb Street. People speed on Cobb Street all the time. You can tell there's all the medical buildings back there, community mental health, lots of traffic between employees and clients, whatnot, and there's always speeding up and down Cobb Street, very unsafe. So I would imagine that the increased traffic would only contribute to that. So that's a major concern for me. My other concern is the intersection of Cobb and Mitchell Street is terrible. It's awful. To get out, to get off Mitchell Street onto Cobb Street, either way. To go right, to go left onto Mitchell, it's bad. I can't see how this is going to make it any better. In fact, it will probably make it increasingly worse with traffic just backing up in all places. And then I have a concern that that's the route that the ambulance takes for the hospital often. And so that's also a huge concern. And I'm a retired now, but I was an RN and worked in this community for almost 30 years. So I have a concern about that as well. I also have a concern about the intersection of Hobart, Cobb, and Cedar Street, which I believe is just opposite of where I think the entrance to this park or this apartments is going to be, just opposite that. So I have concern that that may complicate things there as well. I did pick up this map. Unfortunately, even with my magnifying glass, I can't read the writing or the map. But I did see in here somewhere that it says the main entrance will be Cobb Street with tie-ins off of Copier and Mosser. I'm not sure what that means, but it looks to me like there are also entrances off of Cobb, Copier, and Mosser. Which again, I don't live on Copier or Mosser, but people are already cutting through the alleys off of Cobb Street over to Copier and Mosser to avoid having to go down Cobb Street and go left or right on Mitchell. So, and again, I know we need the housing. We do. We need the housing. But not at the risk of making a mess of something else. And lives being lost, traffic accidents, the ambulance not being able to get where they need to go. And then I just also had questions about the types of apartments. Are they going to be based on income? What kinds of rents are people going to be paying? Is this going to fill a need that we have for the people that are homeless right now? How are we meeting the needs of the homeless folks? Are we building apartments that they can afford or to live in?
I want to say it was going to be market value pricing, was not going to be subsidized, if I'm correct. I think I am. Other than New Hope Shelter, I mean, that's, as you probably know, right. But yeah. Other than that, you have excellent concerns, and we will get that answered.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming and speaking. Even being bashful, you did well.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Smith. I live on the corner of Copier and Wilcox. So I am very concerned. First of all, has there been the land tested or the soil tested? Wasn't that a landfill back in the day, back there? Because they tried to put apartments in there 20 years ago, and they told me that the land was contaminated because of the landfill that was back there. Am I wrong? Has it been tested?
The landfill was south of that yet?
I don't know for sure, and for sure. That's all I remember. They tried to put apartments back there. They had a 2-track back there, and we were going to put apartments. And they told me at the time that the land was contaminated, and they didn't do the job. But anyway, so I'm very concerned. They told me that the fire hydrant in my yard is going to be hooked up. It's where the fire, they're going to be hooking up from the water. So I'm concerned there because I live right on the corner, and that my yard's going to be tore up. And not to mention when they put in the sewer lines and the water lines, how that's going to back up or break mine. because I know the sewer and everything has been there for years. And I know that's my responsibility if something happens to that. And I have concerns about that. I have concerns also about the noise. Like they said, the trains go by there, the ambulance go by, the helicopters go by, and like you mentioned, the kids' safety with the trains going by, with people's safety there. And so there is only one light, street light, that's on the corner there. That's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen to that. So I'm very concerned. Like I said, it's bad enough we cannot get up and down Copier Street half the time. With the auto place there on the corner, they block it, they block the sidewalk, they park backwards. You can't, like I said, half the time get up and down it. And then with them tearing up the corner and have to go around and be able to try to get into my yard and into the park, you know, good parking and stuff. And then I hear it's going to go on for years on top of that. So I just have many concerns. I'm not a happy camper about this at all. I know we need housing, but we need affordable housing for people that can afford it. And not, you know, just to make a profit.
Thank you, Cheryl. Hello.
Hello, Nikki Schultz. I'm with the Alliance for Economic Success. I serve Wexford and Missaukee counties for economic development, housing being one of those issues that I get to work on. I believe you guys had a letter of support written by our Housing Advocacy Committee. This is a topic that we talk about every month, is the need for more housing. I've been in this role for almost 2 years, and Kyle was one of the very first developers that I've gotten to work alongside, and so I've learned a lot from him and a lot about the process. So it's not easy. Housing is not easy at all. It's not necessarily just about the profit. Yes, he has to make a profit, but he's choosing Cadillac to invest in, and so I really want to make a point to say, like, he doesn't have to do it here. He's choosing to be here because Cadillac is such a great place to invest. So I'm just in support of it. And I totally understand. I don't live right there. I understand the concerns and hope that some of these questions do get answered. Overall, I do support and do have that from our committee. So thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. My name is Melanie Robinson. I live at 136 Cobb Street. Most of my questions have been answered. My one is just the entrance, I believe is the the old driveway to consumers. Is that? DTE, sorry. I believe they're using that right there, and I'm just wondering, that is 6 feet from the corner of my house. And I didn't know if you could put something that close to the property line, or if there has to be a little more space. That driveway is 6 feet from my house.
Maybe Kyle can answer that. I don't, from what I'm seeing, you're not utilizing the DT property at all, right?
We are utilizing it for the main drive.
Are you? Okay. It's hard to tell on this small.
Yeah. So that's the parcel. It's got the blue fencing all the way around
Yes.
it?
Yep.
Okay.
As far as setbacks go, I think we're at a point where we do meet all the requirements on that portion.
Will you or do you own that, or are you working out a lease easement?
So we have purchased the main portion. The utility portion we have under contract.
Okay.
You know, we'll close on that once we get a little further in the process.
Do you know what the setback is?
I don't recall exact numbers, but.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you. We've got our entrance drive there.
Into the mic so
It's
people can-
actually shifted east from the current driveway, because we want to line it up with the you know, we have the driveway, and then we have a green space, I think it's about 6 feet wide, and then we have 5-foot sidewalk, and we have another green space, which I believe is another 6 to 10 feet wide. So the intention is, yeah, to try to pull that traffic a little bit away and provide enough room for some landscaping, planting, some separation.
Thank you. Yeah, I wondered on all that, 'cause that street is. Even today, they have a sign posted there, don't block that street. You think people on Main Street let people go? Heck no. They
No,
sat there
or,
and just
or some of
watched
them
them.
will, but the other one doesn't.
Yeah,
and
and
can't-
so
it's not
now you
safe.
can cause an accident, right? Yep. Yep.
T-bone time. We need something there.
You don't want, yeah, wrong kind of T-bone. That's not one you grill. Yeah.
I wonder if there's room for a roundabout.
Good
Hi,
evening.
How are you?
Good,
My
how are
name is
you?
Jane Foster, and we live at 130 Mosser Street.
Okay.
And I see when I look at that picture, I see the entryway, and it curves into the apartment complex. But then it gets to Mosser Street, and it kind of stops. I'm wondering what's going to happen to my street and the condition of our road and what's going to be, our street is going to be used for.
Are you on Mosser?
Yes, 130 Mosser Street.
131, sorry. Yeah, I went down and I looked at that. Actually, I took a walk through the brush back there.
I'm sure my dog barked at you.
I could have been.
Yeah.
That was your dog?
We've lived on this dead-end street for 36 years. It's so peaceful and lovely, and now we've got something big happening. And yes, we do need more housing, but we worry about the size of it. 252 sounds like a lot of apartments for the end of our peaceful street. So we're concerned about the size, and we also heard of contamination on the property. A person mentioned something about the train depot. There used to be a train depot there, and then she said, make sure you ask about soil contamination and how they're taking care of that. But mostly, I have to say, in our heart, we're worried about our Mosser Street.
Understood.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other input? Because I'm gonna have Kyle probably answer some of these questions and concerns before I close this, just to be helpful. So if I have no other input right now, I'll have Kyle address some of the concerns, if you're able, Kyle.
As far as Mosser Street goes, that will be used as a secondary ingress and egress. Our main access will be off Cobb, is the idea. So.
Yeah, 'cause I went back up in there, took a little jaunt. So there'll be a road coming out to where that ends and it's cul-de-sac right now then? Because it goes into a cul-de-sac at the end
Yeah.
of Mosser right now.
Fancy word for dead end.
Right.
Yeah.
You know how that's working,
But-
Adam.
So to be used as a secondary,
So there, that's one of the points that we're kind of still discussing a little bit with staff. We did have, our original plan was to have Mosser Street, as you can see, kind of 90 up into our street, and then connect up into Cobb. The intention of this 90 was to discourage people from like the Phase 2 buildings or something from just hanging a left and then taking down Mosser. We want to make people have to kind of circumnavigate a little bit to, if they want to go to drive down Mosser. the city staff had asked, well, can we, you know, disconnect it and not actually have a connection there? That's something that I hesitate to do because of like just emergency services and things like that. It's always good to have more interconnectivity for that reason. But that being said, we had thrown around the idea of maybe putting like a crash gate across that drive so that it's blocked off 99.9% of the time. You know, we do need 2 points of ingress and egress. We've got that at Cobb, and we got that down at Copier Wilcox. So, you know, we're also very concerned about how to work with the residential traffic and to not create a big traffic issue down these residential streets. So it's definitely been a conversation on how best to do that, and one that's still ongoing a little bit.
Do your homework.
I can see that.
The traffic is horrible now.
Yeah.
Horrible. It really is. It's
Yeah.
really horrible. We've complained to the city several times about the speed. There's children in that neighborhood, and no one cares. We live at the top of the hill. It's a speed launch. Boom. There's not one person that goes past my house that's not under 30 miles an hour. Not one.
Same way in my corner, all that traffic, Peterson's goes right by, cuts off, and same way as that auto place.
Yeah.
And then everyone's cutting off the city and going out, Ring Road.
All your other comments, I have another spot here for public comments. I'm trying to have Kyle answer this so I can shut this down so we can move on is all.
Yep.
But then I have another spot here for public comment that you're welcome to ramp up Kyle. No, not really.
So we are doing a traffic study to address a lot of that too. So that's a big part of figuring this out.
Sewer and water's coming off Paulister though, right? So it's not, you're not going down any of these other streets that they mentioned.
Sewer is coming off Paulister, yes. Yeah, the water will be coming off Cobb.
Water's coming off Cobb.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't think you can, I think the railroad has a lot of right-of-way, so I mean, if you were to put up a barrier, I understand Dave's concern with kids and stuff. I don't know if even that is practical based on the distance that you have to be away from that railroad.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, I see a bunch of green. Are you intending to have coverage between the parking lot there and the railroad?
We are, yeah. So the other thing about that particular spot is elevation climbs drastically. You've probably seen it when you walked it. It's this very, very steep hill, and so our build, it'll be about probably a 10-foot berm and then a tree line also.
Awesome.
Yep.
Kids can get over anything, but 10 feet's a long way.
Including the fence.
Yeah.
I used to climb the fence at the railroad track.
Okay. Any other questions before I shut this part down? Any other questions for Kyle? Or did he answer everything? I made some notes is all, but.
Yeah. I'm good.
Oh, environmental.
The contamination part,
yeah,
isn't that
yeah.
where the DTE was? Isn't that the
Yes.
contamination part
Yep.
with the blue fencing?
Had a railroad spur going through it, and who knows what was dumped there.
So we had environmental studies done on all pieces, all parcels, and the cleanup, the main contamination was on the utility parcel. And that has been done, that was cleaned up. There was a drastic cleanup effort with that. I think it was in the 90s. So that's all documented and approved by Eagle. And we had the same phase 1 environmental study done on the other parcels, and that was all. So we've done all that.
And I think Dave brought up something about the wetlands, and I thought you had that all tested.
We did a delineation, yep, so we are not in the wetland.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Just one other question, and you highlighted the one lady that lives right in the corner where it looks like the main drive coming off from Cobb there. And it, once again, it's hard to tell in this drawing here Lights coming in and out, is there anything built in, any fencing, anything, besides green, solid green? What's in the plan for that? That is going to be where the main drive attaches to Cobb, which is
On
pretty
that
close
west,
to that home.
that west line of the entrance, yep. Adam, what did we do there for screening?
I mean, there is an existing fence, and I don't know what condition it's in, what it looks like. I don't necessarily want to speak for Kyle, but I mean, we would be open to, you know, replacing that with something that looks much nicer, 6 foot tall, solid, just to encourage residents to stay off the property and to shield headlights and everything else. So,
thank you.
Okay. Close public hearing. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
Yep, thank you.
So if nobody else has any other inputs on this, I'm gonna close the public hearing part. Again, if you got something more to say, I got another spot, you can do that. So at this time, we'll kick around, again, this is just a review of the project. So we're not giving them a green light to do everything.
I did have one more question for
Sure.
Kyle. The 60 storage units, are those going to be for residents only to rent? Not another business? It's not a storage business, it's only available for those that are renting?
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
And those are gonna be out on Cobb, did I read? Yeah, now I'm not sure where those are gonna go. Okay.
I think the key is you can build on top of the MGU property, you just can't dig into it. That's the deed restriction, you can't pull any
right.
water out of it.
Yep.
No residential.
Yeah.
Nothing residential.
No kindergartens.
Okay. Kindergarten.
Yeah, so it should go right on top of that.
Uh-huh.
So will there be a separate entrance for those storage units, or will that all be enclosed in there?
That'll be the same entrance off.
Off of Cobb Street?
Okay. It's easier seeing Greg's.
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
We got the fun tools, John.
I know it.
Question for staff, when, if the sketch plan were to be approved tonight, what's remaining on the final site plan approval? Especially with regards to, in my mind, traffic study and outcomes, as well as perhaps a recommendation to consider that fence that was mentioned, perhaps along the west side.
So you definitely can list some conditions. I think Teresa, do you wanna go to your conditions slide?
Sure.
Mentioned in her conditions the need for a traffic study. So engineering, all department heads have been working on this site plan or sketch plan approval. So sketch plan is a little less detailed than a final site plan. And in this review, the engineering department is requiring that a traffic study be done. Given the time frame right now, school is out. We would prefer traffic studies to be done when there's higher volumes of traffic for schools. So the condition that we would recommend that the planning commission put on this approval would be that a traffic study is required to be completed, and that follow through of any deciding factors that the traffic study might reveal or not reveal. Just because it says in the traffic study that this needs to be done. If our engineering department thinks that maybe it needs to be moved a little bit further, whatever that traffic study reveals, be thought out with the engineering department and the developer to be achieved. We wouldn't want the high volumes to impact Cobb Street or Mitchell Street. Maybe a light needs to be installed, maybe a light needs to be removed from a different location and installed there, maybe turn lanes need to be installed. We don't know what we don't know at this point, but whatever that traffic study reveals would need to be discussed with city staff if there was any changes that needed to happen to the actual site plan, then that would need to come back to the planning commission. If all changes are off-site, then obviously the site plan would not need to come back to you guys for approval. But yes, we would ask that traffic study be a condition.
Would the traffic study also determine speeding and all that kind of thing going on there, or is it just volume?
No, they,
As far as like, would they be gathering that data? Is that?
Yeah.
I believe yes.
Yeah, they would be.
That they take
Yes.
that all into consideration, yes. And like we had said for Kentucky, I think it's important that we bring back those concerns of speeding to our public safety officer as well.
So, yeah, tell Adam there's 2 locations.
It's funny, I think everybody in town thinks their street's the worst.
Street's the worst, yeah.
People have to just slow down for crying out loud.
Yeah, everyone definitely drives fast, no matter where you're at.
So there's no final site plan approval then, just for clarity?
There is. So the sketch. So
By
right
this
now-
group, by the commission?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. This will come back to you guys for final site plan approval. And my recommendation, if you have specific requests that you want changed on the site plan, that you would address those now. Not saying that you can't address further ones at the site plan, but it would give the developer ample time to kind of make those changes now and get a more final site plan in front of you when you're approving. Or not approving. I don't want to talk in.
I think the idea of a gate at Moser, so it isn't a regular access point, where it would only open in emergency situations. I think that might help with the neighborhood.
And I think something to add to that would just be that if that was to happen, that it still meets all of the safety requirements. So we would definitely want Anthony to review that to make sure that he still has all the access that his team needs to get in there should there be an emergency.
Okay.
And the flip side of that, though, yeah, is you shut down one street, now you've
Increased volume
you've
of the
increased,
others.
you know, so if somebody from Copier Street says, well, wait a minute now, I've got 1/3 more traffic going down my street, or the same applies to Cobb, I think that's a give and take. You know, one thing I look at is we talk about adding more vehicles, which nobody wants in their neighborhood, but increased traffic usually slows traffic just from volume, you know, so I would struggle to agree with suggesting a gate on Mosser just from the fact of the site plan is trying to direct it away from there, but if you slip 12 cars a day out of there, that's
12 less the other
12
way.
that are going someplace else. That just trades the problem for a problem.
I see.
That's it out.
Good point.
I was gonna ask you, is there any other way they can get in and out of there with your overview that you have, but I don't see one.
No.
Cause,
Landfill.
Well, I mean, the city owns that.
That's the old landfill, right?
Over here.
If you wanted to go all the way out to Pallister and strike a deal with the city.
That sounds good.
Which makes for quite a road, and,
yeah,
That's a good long way.
yeah,
and that's wet.
that's,
That is wet.
I
Yeah.
bet there's some stuff under that sand too.
Ooh, probably.
That may also have some limitations. Mr. Chair, I'd be prepared to make a motion if you're.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, I would move for the approval of the sketch plan in front of the Planning Commission with the conditions as proposed by staff, including specifically and intentionally and expressly the formal traffic study specifically with regard to Cobb, Mosser, and Copier streets before final site plan approval. Additional condition I would propose is also a consideration, at least review by the developer of a fence along that west edge or some appropriate, what's the word I'm looking for, barrier for light and perhaps people. Does that motion work out?
1 second before there is a second. Clarification on the need for the traffic study. Are you stating that that is a requirement before final site plan, or that's just a condition that would?
Well, don't you have it as a condition before final site plan in your conditions here?
I'm unsure how it was listed.
A formal traffic study by a qualified traffic engineer shall be completed focusing on site ingress, egress, and city street impacts. If the study results in significant design modifications, community development staff may require planning commission review before final site plan approval. I mean, we're gonna review it anyways, right?
Right. And department head review is gonna review the traffic study. I'm just, from a time standpoint, are you saying that the developer can't come back with final site plan until the traffic study is completed?
Oh.
Cause that was one of our, like, as staff and speaking, with the engineer as well, is having that listed as a condition that has to be met. So he wouldn't be able to pull permits.
Oh, yeah, so,
Like,
so that's
day
what staff
after.
wants.
But final site plan approval could come before the planning commission, with the traffic study just being a condition on the approval.
Oh,
Because we want the traffic study when school's in session.
Right,
and we don't wanna wait that long for final site plan approval.
yes, that's our theory.
Okay.
And,
But obviously the commission has authority.
and is the thought process that the outcome of the traffic study will result in exterior
That's the-
changes that need to be,
Right, that's
that
the
happen?
thought. Obviously, it could reveal a number of things, but our thought is that most of what the traffic study is going to reveal is going to be off-site improvements.
Traffic lights,
Should there be on-site improvements that had to be made, final site plan could come again, come back
Including
for
recommendations
amendments.
related to Mosser and Copier Street.
Sorry, I just didn't
Is
wanna.
that correct?
Yeah, thank you.
Those would be internal, essentially, that would require approval.
Laura, is that okay?
May I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the traffic study is going to provide recommendations. The developer's gonna have to make a decision. Do I wanna institute those recommendations? You're going to see those recommendations, and it'll be up to you. If he doesn't institute those recommendations, then it'll be up to you to make a decision. Yes, we want them, or no. You seem to have justified why you don't want to make them. It'll be up to you. So you'll see the traffic study recommendations. You'll know whether or not the developers have complied with them, so to speak, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask, why didn't you, if they didn't, and you'll also have the opportunity to say yay or nay to the site plan if you feel a traffic study should have been implemented and it wasn't. So
So I guess I'm just struggling with the timing then. If, I love how you described that, Jerry, but if it's after final site plan approval,
it'll be as part of final site plan approval. You'll have that as part of final site plan
All right.
approval.
Sounds
And
great.
so depending on what the traffic study says,
Yeah, you'd want the results of that before final site plan approval, correct?
I guess originally we were talking about making that a condition.
Right, so can I just offer a brief, not that the planning commission has to act the same way all the time, I do understand that. But as a approval on another development, there was a rather large condition listed that an easement had to be granted from another property owner. Staff was thinking along the lines that this would kind of be a similar condition to that. Like, you have to abide by this condition of getting the safety audit and following out whatever the audit and the engineering department thinks suffices to
I guess the
make
question
this roll.
is, an easement is an objective test.
Give me one
Oh,
if you don't mind.
please.
However, because this is a special land use, you guys have the option the second day after you approve it to revoke it. So should the developer not carry out the traffic study and come to us wanting to build, we would not give him the building permits without having the traffic study. And I'm only saying that because we do have another development that we're working with that it has a similar condition. Not all of the boxes have been checked, therefore you're not able to pull those permits.
And I'll jump in, and I'm not sure which planning commissioner made the comment, but I agree with it, that obtaining an easement is a bit more objective. Than, because if you condition it on obtaining a traffic study, it's a little bit different, right, than meeting all the requirements of the traffic study. And I guess one of the thoughts I have is that if you've got this built-in period between sketch plan approval and final, detailed site plan approval, which is within 6 months under the zoning ordinance, you could require the traffic study and, assurance and plans to comply with that, before final site plan approval. And staff, let me know if that seems off base from a practical matter. But I can understand wanting to have a commitment, to know the traffic study results and have a commitment from the developer to meet the requirements or the recommendations of that traffic study at the time of site plan approval.
Okay.
Our challenge a little bit with that was kind of like we talked about, we're gonna have to wait until school's back in to even start the study, then the study's another, 4 to 6 weeks probably. A couple of the, or one of the grants that we're working on has a timestamp on it, so without that grant, I'm not saying it would or definitely wouldn't work without it, but there's definitely, from our perspective, a critical timeline. If we don't get that grant, it's kind of a situation where the project's really not feasible. That's why we were trying to talk it through and make it a condition of final site plan approval.
I hear that. I also hear the people who are really concerned about traffic, and I don't want to give it lip service and not have real teeth behind it.
Would it be possible to be able to grant us the final approval with the condition that the traffic study be done, and have an additional condition that if there are any on-site or changes that need to be made to the plan, that our plan has to go back to the planning commission for a new final site plan approval?
Jerry or staff, is a traffic study that cut and dried? I'm concerned about recommendations. They say, we think you should do this, and it doesn't say you have to do this.
And I think too, and the engineer's not here, and I don't want to speak for them, but the general consensus of that too is the engineering department actually kind of thought the other way. Like, what if the traffic study doesn't reveal what we think it's going to reveal? Then if it says that you have to, and that, like, putting in a light at Cobb Street isn't revealed in the traffic study, which I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. But let's say it wasn't, then what teeth do we have to say that there needs to be one there? Like, our engineers think that something needs to be done with that intersection. What it may be is to be determined or not to be, and then our engineers need to come up with the right solution that they think.
And that wouldn't be a developer responsibility anyways, right?
No.
These are all external fixes off the site of the development.
It would be at the developer's expense.
Oh, it would? Oh, I've been looking for it. A light there. Let's make sure it gets in the traffic study.
And I guess to Danielle's point too, there is another stop block with a situation where, it could be a conditional approval with, we don't get our building permits until the planning commission or whoever needs to approve.
Laura, is that possible and effective such that the final site plan approval could be conditional?
The final site plan approval, I think, can be conditional. Again, I guess I'm a little reluctant to say that the consequences, you can't get your building permits, right? Because really, if you say the site plan's approved, and if you don't follow it, the consequences not getting your building permit, that doesn't necessarily follow, right? You've got your site plan, you typically get the building permits. And I don't necessarily want, and I'm not trying to make it overly complicated, but I also don't want the city or the developer to be in a position where the consequence is revocation of the site plan approval. So to the extent I realize there's some time frame, but there's also, I think, again, a 6-month window built in between sketch plan approval and site plan approval. And I'm not sure, maybe I've misunderstood. I understand school needs to start, but that's only like a month away, right?
Yeah, the plan right now is to go, to the, I don't know, it's the end of August, planning commission meeting.
And you'd have until, January at least to get that final site plan approval.
We were trying to go to the end of August meeting for final site plan approval.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant for the traffic study.
We have, engineering is within, I don't know if it's done, or it's very close to being done and submitted to where we can make that meeting in time.
But if you still if it's conditioned on, I'm not sure it gets you or gets the developer, I'll say generally, where you want to go. If this final site plan approval is still conditioned on the traffic study, you really don't have final site plan approval. You still have other things you have to do.
And would that affect the grant that they're working with? So,
October 1st.
oh,
And you have to have final site plan approval for that grant to qualify.
They will take final site plan approval with conditions, as long as the conditions aren't too major, I guess. Yep, and we kind of ran this by them, so we're running against the timeline with it, hurdle with it, so it sounded like that would be a condition that they would be willing to accept.
okay.
I guess my last comment on that, and it's really not my vote, not my decision, but the planning commission could be in a position then where you're conditioning final site plan approval on the outcome of a traffic study and recommendations in a traffic study when we have no idea what those are or how they actually affect the site plan.
Yeah. Well, Laura, can you manage through that with, is bonding some sort of security bond an effective way?
It's not about the money or the bond, it's about what the planning commission approves. So if you approve a site plan and it has to change, are we talking about then an amended site plan? Again, in which case, again, they really don't have final approval, because if the site plan is conditional, the site plan approval is conditional, and the traffic study requires some different, access route or something like that, then that site plan really isn't good, right? Because
That's their problem, right, Laura?
well, it becomes our problem, I guess. And that's why I say from the city's perspective, don't we want to know what the traffic study recommends before we approve a site plan?
Well, if it's conditional, we'll just revoke it.
I guess that's an option you could do, but it doesn't seem like the easiest route.
No, nothing about this is easy.
Yeah.
We're trying
Well,
to thread a needle of time that is ineffective on all sides.
I think making sure you have the information before you make a decision on approval is generally what I'd recommend over approving without all the information and then having to revoke it.
We just had one of those. Well, if the project doesn't happen at all because we don't find some pragmatic way to get there, what do we do?
Laura, this is Jerry. They're not approving a final site plan. Right
Oh, I
now,
know.
they're
Yeah.
approving a sketch plan with the following conditions. That,
No,
for
I
example,
understand
that a traffic study be
Yeah,
done,
I understand that entirely.
that this
but
be done, that this be done.
Yeah, that's not the issue tonight, of course, but what I'm
Right,
hearing
well,
is
can't
that
they do
want
that? And then that information ultimately is gonna be taken, and they'll be receiving a final site plan at some point.
But what I'm hearing is it's not sufficient for their grant purposes to only have sketch plan approval, that they need the final site plan approval, and they don't believe they can get a traffic study done and get final site plan approval on the timeline that they want or need.
That's correct.
Is that the issue? Is that the?
Yep, that's his dilemma.
Question for staff. Traffic studies and understanding traffic studies, and knowing neighborhoods and knowing schools. Is there a common factor? They do traffic studies all the time. Is there a common factor or valuation that can be added that says, okay, if this was done in August 1, versus September 1 and school has started, you can add 10%, 25%, something like that. Can the traffic, that's what they do, is that?
Yeah, so I don't do that, so I do not know the answer to that. However, I would definitely reach out to our city engineer
Plausible.
who does those analyzes the traffic and see if there is data to where if they performed it tomorrow without the school accounts, could they take the school accounts on that day from last year and factor that in and make different calculations? Is that kind of what you're wondering, Greg?
Yeah, can they,
Yeah.
you know, we're sitting here
feel
waiting
like
for a traffic count that's
technology
stalling everything.
is a great thing, but hopefully it would work.
I mean, we could probably ask ChatGPT
Right,
to get an answer
exactly.
here.
What was
in
the
about
traffic
3
count
minutes.
on September 1st of 24? Yeah. I feel like that would be an easy solution.
Or, I know we all love meetings. Is a special meeting a possibility?
And, a special meeting is always a possibility.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Does that help the timeline?
As long as we meet our publication deadlines, yes.
Kyle, one more question for you. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a satellite of how this lays out. You know, and right now, like you said, the proposed main entrance is on Cobb, so it pairs up with where Cedar Street comes together. In your studies, I'm guessing there has been conversation. If the traffic study came back and said, no, we don't like that to line up, we want it further to the east, railroad right-of-ways, would they allow an entrance? If the traffic study came back and said, boy, it'd be a lot better if that was on the other edge of the property, does railroad even allow that with setbacks that the railroad have? Sight lines, all of those.
The answer would be generally no. The other answer is you generally don't want streets offset by less than, say, 200 to 300 feet, because the left turns and right turns have a tendency to conflict with each other. That's why they always want streets to line up with each other, so that two people making a left turn, they can see that that person's making a turn, and everyone can see what's going on. I think the other thing about the traffic study, maybe in this case, from what I heard from the residents, there's a lot of issues with turning movements. So, you know, traffic counts during the school year may be up, but that may not increase the number of turning movements. And a lot of times, light warrants are not just based on straight numbers, but it's based on user delay to make a turn. So, just to say, we might actually get very good numbers from the traffic study, even though school's not in session. And I do know that they do have factors that they can apply. You know, during COVID, when traffic cratered 60%, you know, they didn't just stop doing traffic studies. They looked at historical data and applied that to create good projections. So that is definitely an option.
And my point of that question is, the traffic study is probably going to reveal what the traffic study reveals. The site plan doesn't allow for a driveway, a main entrance, any other place. So it's either this works or it doesn't.
I don't think it's gonna be that significant, but it's possible.
I mean, you can't move it here.
Can't go here, but you could go here, because
Depends
that's
what
owned right there.
You've got traffic railroad crossing signs right there.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the sketch plan as proposed with the conditions established by staff, including the traffic study, and that that we have the study and response from the developer before final site plan approval.
To expedite the traffic study.
Well, that's one option to fit the timeline, and a special meeting would be another. But I'm going to suggest that that's not our fight tonight. I'm done talking about it. Motion made.
Support. Mr. Van Pelt supported.
Perfect. Van Pelt,
Yes.
Rice. Bauman.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Bunce.
Yes.
Host.
Yes.
Putvin.
Yes.
Bosher.
Yes.
Bent.
Okay, that was interesting. We have one piece of new business before I get to your public comments, just for conversation here tonight. New business is B3 district memo. And thank you, staff, for doing this for us. And having read that, or if anybody wants to leave right now, go ahead. I'll give you time. Is this yours, Teresa?
Nope.
Or
it's Jerry's.
Mr. Adams was here when we requested it, so,
Yep.
yes.
Okay, I'm gonna, no PowerPoint. I'm just gonna use the 3-page memorandum that we sent you, and I'm just gonna highlight some of the information. I'm not gonna go through all of it, but essentially at the last Planning Commission meeting, both on the Planning Commission's part as well as the public's part, there seemed to be some interest in exploring the possibility of allowing short-term rentals in the B3 zone district. And as you are currently aware, they're allowed in both of the TS districts, the B1 district and the B2 zone district. Not allowed for whatever reason in the B3. And in terms of the B3, the B3 is the most encompassing commercial district in the city. It's hierarchical, so to speak, or cumulative. And basically, it includes virtually a majority of the commercial uses found in these other districts, with the exception of short-term rentals. And yet the B3 also, however, does provide for lodging accommodations such as motels, for example. And I think that was really kind of the precipitous for, well, you know, if you're going to allow motels, why don't you allow short-term rentals? To make a long story short, on the second page, we did look at a variety of information. We looked at the Cadillac master plan, for example, and the master plan, similar to the zoning ordinance, essentially provides that the B3 district is the most encompassing. It doesn't address short-term rentals in the B3, but it does indicate that with the exception of industrial, the B3 is kind of almost everything goes, so to speak. In kind of a summary, and I think that's the way to do it, I'm going to highlight or read the 5 areas that we found. It's staff's opinion that there is some potential for applying or allowing short-term rentals to be included in the B3. Number 1, the district presently includes commercial facilities, that is the B3, providing overnight or limited duration lodging. For example, motels are specifically listed as a B3 land use, and we think that short-term rentals essentially are consistent with that use. Number 2, as I mentioned, the district is the city's most encompassing commercial zone district, providing for the widest range of business activities. And again, as mentioned, there are several types of lodging operations that are permitted. Number 3, though it's not specifically identified, the use is not inconsistent with the Cadillac master plan. Page 32 of the plan calls for the development of a wide range of general commercial uses in the B3 zone district. And again, the only prohibition for the B3 was industrial. Number 4, we felt that the inclusion of short-term rentals is not expected to negatively impact the range of other identified B3 uses. However, if you feel that's a concern, you could, if you were of a mind to provide for short-term rentals in the B3, you could allow them as a special land use. That would give you additional review, would provide an additional set of conditions, review standards and possible conditions. And then lastly, and I think this is important, number 5, at a recent hearing of the Planning Commission, and you know what you folks said, but again, the public, and not just the applicant, but the other folks that spoke, seemed to be positive when it came to short-term rentals in the B3 district. And then the very last page, if you think this is something that should be explored or considered, and Laura, you may chime in on this one, please, then what you could do is you could direct staff, or you could, I should say, pass a motion directing staff to prepare and process an ordinance amendment for your consideration. That would come back to you, there'd be a public hearing, and based on your recommendation, that would ultimately go to City Council. And obviously, of course, we would have the city's legal counsel prepare that particular ordinance amendment. Or we could ask the city attorney to go ahead and prepare the amendment, bring it back to you for review, and then hand it back over to staff to go through the process of putting it in the paper and so forth. Personally, I think I like the first idea. Just approve a motion, having staff go ahead, put together a possible amendment change, have that reviewed and approved by council, bring it, and then go ahead, publish it, and then at your next meeting or at some subsequent meeting when that happens, you would conduct your public hearing and make a decision.
I agree with all of that.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
So do I.
Thank you, Laura.
Can I just make that motion, or do we want to have a discussion first?
We kind of kicked it around when we were.
When I wasn't here.
When you weren't here,
I
yeah.
like this, if you're gonna make the motion, I like the special land use
Will you?
idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Go
I'd be
ahead and
glad
make the
to.
motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that the commission direct staff to prepare and process an ordinance amendment subject to the requirements of the Cadillac City Code, permitting as a special land use short-term rentals in the B3 zone district.
Support.
Shippers,
Yes.
Host,
Yes.
Van Pelt,
Yes.
Bunce,
Yes.
Bosher,
Yes.
Bauman,
Yes.
Bent, Putvin,
Yes,
Rice.
Yay.
awesome. We're getting closer to doing something right.
Okay.
Excellent. Old business, nothing. Board member comments, you commented out.
Those 3 pages.
Okay. Any other board members not commented on them?
Listen,
Any public comments yet? This is your time to shine. You can say whatever, well, almost. Not whatever.
Well, I just wanted to
Come up to
touch
the-
one more minute with you on the road. Okay, gotta stand up here. Got it.
Then people at home can.
Sorry about that. And the name is David. About that road and the traffic there, and you say there's no way that they could put this road out to Hollister, because that would cure a lot of our problems. You know, I mean, it would take care of a lot of their issues and ours if the road could go to, because then they are emptying out on a street light. You know, right, and then they can loop around the other way where we empty, when we empty out, you got a half a street light up the street just a little bit there. I don't know, most of you probably have used this road, I don't know. But the school bus traffic and the parent traffic in the mornings, I leave my house at before 7 during the school because I beat the school buses that way. Okay? Because if I try to pull out onto Main Street after 7, between 7 and 7:20, you know, you got all those parents plus the school buses, and they're all hustling because they're headed to work. You know, they dropping the youngins off, and then they're headed up. And that's all I wanted to add to that project. If they could figure out a way to get it emptied out onto Hollister Street, that would certainly be, you know, and they're talking, wasn't that Wheeler Street or Weber Street? on the, Wilcox. You know, if they, you know, because they're talking about getting out of there using that, and I mean, they're already headed towards Hollister in some degree. I mean, you know, that would end up in their behalf, would certainly take up a lot of the issue, because it's not so much, the issue's not so much getting straight across to the other street by the railroad tracks there. I don't know what's the name of that street? Cedar Street, because that's what they were talking, is that they were trying to move their driveway closer to Cedar Street so they could be more of a straight in and out with the other street, and then Cobb Street. But really the biggest is going to be trying to get out at Main Street, and that's where the traffic is going to back up. And you know, like I say, I had children, I made my kids drive around, all the way around, and come out at the street light, because I didn't want my kids trying to pull out down there, because it's such a risky corner. Okay, that's all I had to say about that.
And we agree, Dave. Any other public comment? If staff doesn't care, we're gonna adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
I
Oh,
did-
oh, oh, oh,
I have
is
one
there
other
something
thing.
else I missed?
Yeah, so one thing I did want to ask and discuss with everyone, I did meet with the chair and the vice chair for a meeting before this. And my old job at Manistee, we did something kind of unique and something that I really enjoyed, and I want to propose it to you. So what I would like to do when it's not a heavy meeting night where we have a lot going on, I would like to always have on our agenda a guest speaker. So what we would do in the past is, might have somebody from the fire department report on what's going on in their department. Another might be the airport, have them. Ordinance enforcement officer, give us an update on blight. Another thing, somebody from the tourism, or somebody from MDOT if they're here. Just always have a guest speaker on our agenda when we have a lighter agenda. And then just let them talk for 10 minutes. They can have a PowerPoint, they can just talk, you can ask them questions. And then afterwards, I usually have a nice thank you card. And if they're not a city worker or something, give a $5 I would buy a $5 little gift card for coffee or something like that, just to show their appreciation for them coming, giving us a report and talking to us. So this is something I'd like to implement, just wanted to get your feedback on it.
Like community spotlight at council.
It's always tough to tell what's a light agenda.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, if we had a speaker
Yeah.
tonight, we wouldn't be happy with you.
Right. Well, we'd have the speaker
Neither
first.
would they.
Right. And try to have the speaker first, or, you know, up towards the top of the agenda, so.
I mean, I think we would welcome a blight report anytime.
Yeah.
So would you be deciding what's a light agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I would make the contact, and even some suggestions from you that, yeah, these are some of the ones that I really want to talk about, like with the blade officer. Hey, can we see and have them adjust their schedule? Can they come in a little bit later? Can they come to our meeting, talk for 10, 15 minutes? That would be very nice.
Might also be interesting to have Anthony come talk about the fire marshal come talk about, you know, what the considerations have to be made.
Right.
And these plans and stuff. That might be.
Good idea.
Maybe not every meeting.
Yeah.
I think there's a reluctance because, you know, maybe not every meeting, but maybe
Right.
once in a while, quarterly or
I think
something.
give it a try.
Okay.
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 Sounds good.
All right.
We're set.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
You're welcome. Motion to adjourn. I'm taking it. We're out. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.